Share Podcast with Ryan and Ice. I'm Ryan.
And I'm Ice.
All right.
Oh, man, it's been a minute, buddy.
It's been a long time. We are actually shooting the crap for about, 30 minutes
Probably.
or more?
Yeah, we were like, we ought to just start recording.
Yeah, because we started talking about stuff that we were originally wanting to talk about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Maybe even further back than that.
Sorry it's been so long, everybody.
Yeah, so it is now January
of 2023.
Now let me see here. I'm going to look it up. Our last episode.
It was probably like April.
Oh my God. So long ago.
I don't think we did one in the summer.
9 months ago.
Dang. So yeah.
We published 9 months ago. We've had a baby since then.
Wait, what?
It takes 9 months. I'm just being
you're making a joke. I was like, wait, did one of us actually have a baby since then? I was like, no.
You were thinking so hard. Wait, hold on.
Wait a minute. What? Yeah, I got you. That is the gestation period of a human child.
That's correct. So 9 months ago we released part 3 of Stitch and Bitch, where we were ranting and raving.
And that was the last one, huh?
That was the last one. We actually here's the thing. We actually recorded a few after that, but then we were missing parts and pieces, and I couldn't ever really compile a full episode.
Right. Well, here we are, back at it.
Yeah. So where should we pick up?
I don't know, man. I'm just happy to be back doing it, dude. I've missed it, man.
So, okay. So how did this... 9 months ago, both your schedule and my schedule got completely derailed, and you wound up playing quite a substantial bit more shows with David.
Yeah, last year was probably one of the busiest years we've had in a while. I mean, 2020 notwithstanding, like it was still a busy year, a busier year than we've had in the last 4 or 5 years. It was good.
Yeah. And with me, I had stuff going on where, oh my God, especially this last year, it's been rather nuts. I guess it's just this last year. It's just been kind of crazy and turbulent, I think is a good word. And then we actually, you and I went during the later part of the summer, like a month, didn't actually call, but we texted
we were
randomly.
Texting, but yeah, man, it was real crazy.
Yeah, but I got to see you in Columbus. When was that? October?
Yeah, man. Or November, October, I think. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. It was because Halloween was had just happened or was coming up.
Well,
that was coming up.
If it just happened, it would have been November.
No,
Halloween
that is true.
I think you're right. I don't think it had happened yet. Well, yeah, it hadn't, because Adam was still playing bass with us, and he did all the October dates, but he couldn't do November. So
right on.
Yeah.
So that was cool. You were at the Bluestone over in Columbus, and then after that, you actually, I think it was the next weekend, you wound up at the Dusty Armadillo.
It was that same run.
It was the same
Bluestone
weekend?
was on Wednesday, and Dusty was on Saturday, because I saw our good buddy Lonnie.
Yeah, good buddy. Hey, Lonnie.
Bro, let me tell you something. I had so many donuts on that run, because you and I got Buckeye Dones.
Yep, we did.
When I was in Columbus, and
that was
then
really good. And I held myself to only one, which was
I only had 2,
difficult.
which I was pretty stoked about. I brought back like a dozen for the guys on the bus, but I did not have any of those.
No, you didn't dip
had
in.
the 2 that I ordered. And
then
Lonnie brought these amazing donuts. I forget where they were from. When he came and saw us at the Dusty.
It was like a farm or something.
Yeah, dude, they were unbelievable. And I think I had them one other time in that 5 day run. So, whoops. But
oh man, that's funny.
Yeah. Anyway, and then I just saw you right before New Year's.
Yeah, I got to see the whole family, and you did too.
It was a good time, dude.
Yeah, I got to see your kids. Now, of course, I've seen Ella a few times.
A couple times.
Two, 3 times or something before. And then Ethan once before, but he was just brand new.
Wait, you saw him in person?
I did. Not really, because she was feeding him. So I got to see his feet.
When?
At your dad's funeral.
Oh my gosh, I forgot. Yeah, he was only like 2 weeks old.
He was brand spanking new.
Dude, I forgot all about that. Right,
Yeah,
right. That's right, because you were playing with Ella. You were like dancing and stuff. That's right.
I was keeping her occupied.
Dude, I forgot all about that. Yeah.
Andrew and I were actually talking about it, and she's like, I said, well, I've seen Ethan technically. I said, you have, and you've seen Ella. And she's like, what? I said, at the funeral. And she goes, oh my God. She forgot.
Yeah,
she'd seen him there too. Because they were back in the back room, you know.
Right.
And so, but since then, Ella has lost some teeth, or a tooth. Maybe her first tooth was.
She lost her first tooth like 3 days before we saw you.
I thought that's what the deal was, but I didn't want to assume. So she lost her first tooth when I saw her this last time, and then I finally got to lay my eyes on Ethan in person, and let me tell you, he does not disappoint.
That's good. I mean, it's just a mini me. It's literally a mini me. Oh my
God, it totally is just a little Matt Iceman.
I mean, just walking around with his belly leading.
Yeah. Oh, he's so freaking funny. And then when you guys were here, we were playing basketball out back because it was abnormally warm.
Considering the couple weeks leading up to it were freezing. It was like 60 degrees that day.
It was so freaking cold. Now, did you guys experience that cold or just the end of it when you guys came up? I can't remember. Were you just coming up when it was coming
we came
out
up
of
the day after Christmas, and I think like it was still cold.
Oh, yes,
and I actually think parts of Ohio were still getting some snow that day. But then after that, it didn't snow anymore, and it was starting to warm up. There was still snow on the ground.
Yep. A week before we saw each other.
Yeah.
It was minus, I think it hit finally a -8. Actual temp, and then the real feel was like -28 or something. Yeah. And then when we saw each other, it was like 60 degrees outside.
Yeah, it was like a heat wave. Dude,
it was crazy.
When it was -8 for you guys, it was -1 here, which
is
negative
crazy.
Degrees in Tennessee is insane.
It shut down everything.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it shut down my blower motor on my heater.
Yeah, it did.
But yeah, man, it was good to see you guys. Your kids are freaking. They're driving. They graduated high school. They have jobs and their own families now.
They are. Jonathan is a giant,
dude.
He's really
and
shooting up.
He will be 13.
He'll be 13 coming up this year in December, but he just turned 12. Yep.
And and Andrew's 9.
Yep. Andrew's 9.
That's insane, dude.
I know, it's pretty wild. It's funny because they're at that age where they were excited that you were coming, and I think they were more excited.
Even though they don't know who I am. Well, I guess Jonathan probably remembers me.
Oh yeah, Jonathan for sure remembers.
Yeah.
And Andrew knows because we talk a lot.
Sure.
And he hears me talk to you, and then we do this, and he's watched me edit some of this stuff, and
right.
So he's quite familiar with Matt. But they were excited about you coming, and then and they didn't hang around us a whole lot.
Yeah.
At all.
That's fine.
They were mostly hanging out with the kids.
Yeah.
And Tim was here.
Yeah, and his kids were there.
His kids, yeah. So all the cousins were doing their thing, and the kids were out in the backyard playing. It was really fun. It was really good.
I wish you could have stayed longer, man. It would have been nice.
Yeah, but I know how it is to have to travel, especially when you're coming up here, because I had to do that for years and do the same routine, and I had to do it quite a few times with Jonathan, and I know it can be difficult, and it's,
And you just feel like all you do is just drive the whole time
you're just driving. That's all you're doing.
And with little kids in the car, man, it's like not.
Oh, they don't want to be in the car.
It gets really old really quick.
Oh yeah, God! And you guys were everywhere. You were over by what? Over by Dayton.
Yeah, we were in Piqua, which that's where Amy's family is, and then it's like a 3-hour drive to Massillon, where
I
my
didn't
mom
realize it was
is,
3 hours.
where my mom is, and then
It's an indirect route, though, right? That's what the problem.
well, you can go like one of two main ways. You can just jump on 75 and go all the way up to 30 and take 30 all the way over to Massillon, which I have argued that time wise that might be the faster way to go, but it is so boring and there's like no good place to stop for like food or to pee or whatever. So what we usually do is just take, now I'm going to forget what it is, 33 or 36, like through Urbana and into Marysville, which I used to have family, a whole bunch of family that lived in Marysville. Now none of them live there. They all live in like Dublin
I didn't know that.
or Delaware. They all live in like Delaware. But you go like through there and then through to Delaware and get on, oh my gosh, 70. What do we get on?
Yeah, it would be 71. Wouldn't it be toward Cleveland?
71 and then get off on 30.
Right.
And then you just go like through, like right around Mansfield there. And you go like through Worcester.
Yep.
Then,
I am familiar with that route.
Yeah. And that I think maybe takes a little longer, but there's like places to stop.
Yeah.
You know, you can like,
Right.
we usually try and time it like we'll pick up lunch or something somewhere in there and then go the rest of the way. But then, yeah, leaving my mom's, we went way out of our way to go back to Piqua because we went down 77.
Yeah, you have to go like to or through Canton.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
Which we went up to Belden Village area because my dad is buried there at Sunset Hills.
Okay.
Or just Sunset Cemetery. So went and saw that and then hopped on 77 right there by Belden. Took that all the way down to like what is the exit? 36?
Yes, Newcomerstown.
Yeah, Newcomerstown, and then came in that way. Which let me tell you, that whole drive, 77 and all that, that looks the same as it did 30 years ago, dude. Like the
really
same farms and everything.
Yep.
Like
it hasn't really, none of that's really changed.
It's crazy. And I mean, I had family in Canton that we would see all the time. So I mean, I could make that drive in my sleep probably still to this day from Coshocton to 77 and on up and back. Like, so that was, and I haven't made that drive in probably 5 years. So that was interesting. And then driving through Coshocton was a thing. Well, stopped and had lunch at the warehouse at Roscoe Village because I worked there in high school.
Right.
And it's way different than it was now. But it was actually
what did you do there?
Good food. What did I do when I worked there? I was just a busser.
Okay.
Yeah. It was a pretty good high school job. My boss was like pretty cool with my schedule, like during marching band season and stuff. Because I started there summer before junior year. Was that? Yeah, because I was driving then. So I worked that summer and then I just kept working like weekends through the school year. Except for in the fall when marching band was doing a bunch of stuff. And then I worked the next summer before my senior year and worked through the school year. And then that's when I got the Longaberger job was after my senior year. And that job was so cush compared to busting tables at Roscoe Village.
Right.
I was making friggin' $60 a day to play drums for 4 hours, dude.
Right.
It was pretty easy money, man. Though the hardest part about it was the drive, which even that was like not that bad.
Yeah, man. The Longaberger days. And it's hard to believe that they went bankrupt.
Yeah, they were so smart with their money.
Oh my God. So,
but anyway.
Yeah. So, as far as now, what kind of, obviously we've wanted to get back into doing this thing.
Yes.
Because it is fun to do, and if nothing else, it entertains us.
Yes, but we have had, several people be like, "Hey, are you ever going to do a podcast episode ever again?"
And we're like, "Yeah, sure."
Yeah.
But we have.
It's just on infinite hiatus. But here we are. We're back.
We're back, and hopefully, this is one of many that will continue through this part of the season anyway, until things get busy again.
Yeah, I mean, my hope is that if we can just do like 2 a month.
Yeah,
and they don't all have to be like 3 hour. Hey, we're back. Let's talk about everything we missed. They can just be like a quickie, if you will.
Right.
Sometimes a quickie is all you need.
Sometimes it's all you need, man. Just a real quick. Hey, here I am, and then everybody's good.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say?
You said, "Hey, here I am," and I was gonna say, "Signed, sealed, delivered."
Oh my gosh, man.
Well, yeah, so, I think the thing that kind of really made us want to get back into this is we were talking, was it before Christmas?
Yeah.
I think you and I were talking, and I was kind of telling you about some revelations I had in my own life about health and working out and things like that. And you were just like, "Man, like I really feel like I'm slipping a little." And I was like, "Yeah, me too." And we just said we need to do another like podcast series, accountability type challenge check-in thing. And even if nobody else cares, like us actually putting it out here and having other people hear it and each other keeping us accountable, plus the other people that listen, it made a difference. Because you talked about, was it 2021 when you first started, and you were like, "Man, like I was on fire, and I was really set," and I think I need that too. I mean, I think I've slipped, but I don't know if it's been like, my slip has been really gradual. I feel like I've maybe slowly.
That's been mine too.
Like, maybe it's not even a slip, but it's like a conscious slacking off.
Mm-hmm. Allowing a bit more things to pass. Yeah, and not, and I don't like that. Yeah, I don't either. It's one of those scenarios where you are allowing things to go unchecked because you'll get it tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
Or you'll get it the next day.
But then something comes up.
And the next thing you know, that's over here, and now there's a new thing in line that then gets pushed, right? And since you're close and I'm close to what we're dealing with, it becomes the child that you don't see for a year.
Right.
Syndrome, right?
Yes.
It's like, to me, Jonathan looks like Jonathan, but to you, Jonathan is enormous, right? He's grown so much, and things have changed dramatically. So that's the way I kind of feel about this. I've still been managing my food, although through, of course, we've already talked about this. Thanksgiving and Christmas is horrible because everybody's eating.
Yeah.
Things that you shouldn't really be eating.
Yeah. Or at least you eat it in the amounts you shouldn't be eating.
Now
there's a whole thing to like, I can have a taste of this and a little bit of this, but it's like, if you don't have the ability or the desire to want to control that, it can really spiral out of control.
I even made it up in my mind that it's Thanksgiving. It's okay. It's once, but the problem is there's multiple Thanksgivings.
Right. Well, we don't have that problem. But yes, I know what you're saying. Yeah, like you have Thanksgiving with this side of the family, and then you have Thanksgiving with this side of the family. A friend's Thanksgiving, and
Friendsgiving. Yeah. So then next thing you know, over the course of 3 days, you've basically eaten 2 or 1.5 pumpkin pies.
Yeah. Yeah, I just had a whole turkey, which in the grand scheme of things, that's pretty lean protein. Like that's like one of the best things you could probably overeat.
That's true. I didn't think of it that way.
If you're going to overeat, like protein and vegetables aren't that bad, but it's like sweet potato casserole Or if it's like a green bean casserole, that's not really just green beans. You know,
there's some Campbell's soup in there.
Yeah, some fucking the fried onion crispy things on top.
Oh my God. They might as well put French fries in there. May as well just put French fries in.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, but the problem is the turkey, I only eat dark meat.
Well, but still. It's not as lean, but it's still.
It's not, but it's not as bad as like.
Dude, okay. You just made me think of something that I don't think we've ever talked about.
What's that?
I was listening to a podcast, and now I forget if it was on Mark Bell or if it was an Ethan Suplee thing. But whoever the guest was, they were like a nutritionist and a trainer, and there was a study, I think from 2018, where they took two groups of people, and the one group, they overate their maintenance calories by 1,000 calories.
Okay.
But it was only in lean protein.
Okay.
So the extra 1,000 calories only came from lean protein.
So something like turkey.
Yeah. Well, he didn't say if it could have been just like protein shakes. I don't know.
Okay.
But let's.
Like a supplement of some type.
It could have been a supplement, but it could have been like, chicken breast or whatever. But he said over the course of the 3 months or whatever, those people did not gain weight.
Well, what?
Because
okay. I've heard.
Now listen,
we talked about a little bit of this.
Did we talk about this? Okay.
I briefly brushed on it on one of our fitness ones, talking about like I heard the same thing, but it was from a different podcast.
Yeah.
I may have actually read it in an article, but it's talked about specifically this thing where having a lean protein like a protein mix.
Yeah.
If you take it does not, the calories of that being, let's go crazy and say it's 500 calories that you're having of protein shake in a day, which is an enormous amount.
Yes.
The calories aren't the same. You essentially don't even count. You don't even really have to count them, like, because they don't, your body can't store
the way your
it as
body
fat.
processes them. Yeah.
Right.
Anyway, you just made me think of that. Like, because people always be like, oh, I ate way too much turkey or whatever. And it's like, man, out of all the things on a Thanksgiving table.
Yeah. Turkeys.
But the thing about that is like meat can be hard to overeat. Because at a certain point, your body, like, have you ever sat down and tried to eat like four?
That's true.
Four pieces, like 4 chicken breasts. Like, I love chicken, but after like 2, I'd probably be like, man, this doesn't taste good anymore. I'm over this.
You know what? That's interesting. That's an interesting observation
because they don't have that same effect as like a real carby thing.
Donuts. Let's just
potato chips or something like that.
Let's just do a high contrast, right?
Yeah.
Comparison. So So chicken or turkey, you're right. If you
beef,
try
any meat,
if you overeat on it, you get this feeling like, whoa, like your stomach will wind up feeling distended.
Yep. Yeah.
And
I get real crampy sometimes.
Yeah, and it can even get nauseous.
Yes.
Right, if you do it too quickly.
Yeah.
Another thing that does that very thing is spinach and lettuce and those types of you can fill up so quickly. Now it takes more,
sure,
but you can do it. But with ice cream,
donuts,
chips,
any of that stuff,
pretzels,
you can just eat them forever and ever and ever.
You can literally eat a 1-pound bag of potato chips and still kind of want more potato chips.
Yeah, because the salt and the fat and all that stuff, the oil.
It's designer food.
Exactly. It's highly processed food to make you want to keep eating it.
It's supposed to be addictive.
Which I jotted down some things.
Oh, you got notes?
Oh, I made a few notes.
Holy shit! Things that I want prepared.
I just did it while we were dicking around earlier.
Well, it's better than what I did.
So what? Which was nothing.
Spilled broccoli soup on me.
Oh, I got a mess over here.
I got a mess.
So anyway, we totally just got off on a tangent. But for anyone that's still listening, I'll give you bullet points of what things we want to talk about today. One is going to be maybe setting up new goals and challenges for the next 90 days or whatever. But I also kind of want to talk about a thing that Ryan has going on musically. So if that sounds interesting, suffer through the whole, no, I want to lift more weights, or whatever. You can just hang on to that because we're going to talk about some other cool stuff.
Yeah.
I want to get to that. I have a feeling this might be a longer episode, but that's okay. We haven't done one in 9 months.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Yeah. So what else you got?
Well, I mean, you just want me to get into my
I jotted down? Okay. Just dive into it.
So the conversation we were having back in December, I had a few days where I hadn't run.
Yep.
It was because of the thing that you are doing musically. I was very busy playing drums for you, recording a lot of drums. So I was like trying to just wake up in the morning, walk Lloyd, come back, shower, get some breakfast, and then just get to work. I didn't want to waste like a whole other hour trying to run a 10K or something and then walk Lloyd and then I don't start tracking for you until 11 o'clock. Like when it was 9 o'clock and I feel like that's late enough that I won't disturb the neighbors, I wanted to be ready that I could just start recording then. And I kind of had this revelation, and I was talking to you about it first of all, I noticed that my resting heart rate, like that's the one thing which I know that some people don't care about that. And like, even when my resting heart rate is in the 50s, like that's still really good compared to like the general population.
Absolutely.
But a thing that I pride myself on is when my resting heart rate is like in the mid to low 40s. And I had over the last 2 or 3 days where I hadn't been running, all I've been doing was walking and playing drums and stuff. My resting heart rate was still dropping. It was like 45, 44, 43, somewhere in there. But the one thing I had been doing all those days was taking at least 20 minutes in my garage and lifting some weights of some kind. I was doing some kind of strength and resistance training for at least 20 minutes. So I would like wake up, I would walk Lloyd, I would get breakfast, I would go out to my garage, I would lift some weights, move some weight around, get a shower, and then get to playing drums. Mm-hmm. And so part of that was like, wow, I can, like, my level of conditioning is still like I can maintain here. And I told you, like, I don't want to give up running altogether. But one thing that I'm going to try and do is maybe not, instead of trying to run a 10K, which is 6.2 miles every day or 6 days a week, maybe I'm just going to try and run a 5K, 3.1 miles, like 4 days a week. Because I was like, I think that's enough that I can, like, it will maintain my level of cardio health. Because that's the other thing is I feel like a lot of times fitness influencers and whatever, they really only, they focus on lifting. And I'm not saying this is wrong, but they focus on it from purely like an aesthetic point of view. Like, I only lift weights because I want to look good, which I can't argue that. Like, lifting weights will do more for your appearance than just cardio will. But the thing that doesn't get talked about is that cardio, while it may not be a good thing for fat loss or a good, let's just say running, because cardio could be anything, but like running, while it may not be a good instigator of fat loss and it may not change your body composition or its appearance, it is still good for your health. And I do value my heart health. I love the fact that when I go to my physical every year, the doctor says like, wow, your resting heart rate's lower than mine on this EKG. And like when I do all my, my lipids test with all my cholesterol and everything, the doctor's like, wow, your lipid numbers are better than mine. And like that stuff's still really valuable to me.
Sure.
And so I don't want to give up running altogether. I enjoy it. I enjoy that time of mental focus, but want to put less time into it and more time into other things. So part of the revelation was, okay, if I can just run a 5K 4 days a week and then just still walk Lloyd every day, because he needs exercise too, and that's a good time for us, and walking is a really good thing, and do some strength training, that's only going to yield good results, because I'm still going to Damon twice a week. So then if I lift on my own like 3 or 4 days, even if it's just for 20 minutes, but like I jotted here on my notes, like try and make it a minimum of 30-minute session, more if I can. Mm-hmm. That's great. And the other thing that I noticed about that was I was a happier person throughout the day, because I didn't just have this goal of I've got to run all these miles or else this day is gone to shit.
Right.
Like
nothing accomplished.
I did it enough, but I had all this other stuff going on that I felt it was like I ran just enough that I felt energized to do it. Or maybe I didn't run at all that day, but I lifted and I walked away. And then I played drums for like 3 or 4 hours working on stuff for you. And then when my kids came home, I wasn't so dog ass tired that I like wasn't fun to be around. I actually had more energy, and it was like I was up for like running around the house and playing with them more. And I haven't felt like that in a long time.
Right.
And I was kind of like, man, as good as my heart health has been, maybe it's been killing other parts of my life. And it's not accomplishing the goal that it once did of getting me quote unquote skinnier. Mm-hmm. You know, it was a huge help when I weighed 320 pounds, but for the last 2 years, I've basically been 225 pounds, give or take a pound or two in either direction.
Right. Which is quite an accomplishment.
Yeah. And for a long time, I was like, I wish I was 205 again, or 210 or 215, but it's like 225, but at a different appearance would be badass. Mm-hmm. And like the fact that I've maintained that and not been near as strict as I was when I was losing all the weight, that's an accomplishment in and of itself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not like I've gained a bunch of weight back.
Right.
You know? And I came across this the other day on my phone, and I made this note back when I did a note on my phone of like different goals and things, because when I first started training with Damon, I wanted to go in and have like kind of a clear, like, I didn't know if he was going to ask me like, well, what are you trying to get out of this or whatever, you know? So I jotted it down for myself, but also in case he wanted to know where I was trying to get to. And it wasn't something we really ever talked about. And I put down a bunch of different stuff here. And then at the very end, which I think is maybe the most important thing, I wrote, to have more balance in life, to get to a place fitness-wise where I can maintain without being in the gym 7 days a week, to be able to have a few nights/days a month where I can enjoy food without feeling guilty or anxious about how it might affect me the next day. And I read that and I was like, oh, well, I've kind of done that. Mm-hmm. Like, just the whole thing of like, there used to be like, man, if I didn't run every day, I just felt like, oh God, nothing else in this day is going to be good. And all I'm going to do is be 5 pounds fatter tomorrow because I didn't run today. Uh-huh. And, you know, like all this stuff. But I've slowly over the last 2 years realized that like, okay, if I don't run today, or if I'm, you know, whatever kind of workout, like, it's okay. And maybe other things are more important than just killing yourself running 7 days a week. You know, and like, I've definitely had moments last year where I was like, I really fucking hated running and I didn't even want to go do it. And I don't want to get to that point. So like, I want it to still be a thing that I enjoy. Mm-hmm. So if doing it less frequently during the week makes it a thing that I still enjoy, then that's more beneficial than just trying to like, you know, slosh through it
Right.
and hating every minute of it. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yep.
So with all that said, this is what I wrote down, and this is going to be maybe my things, because what we want to do is do like a 3-month challenge again, right?
Yes.
Or whatever, not a challenge, but just an accountability journey.
Yes, right.
I don't want to call it a challenge, but so here's the things that I want to try to accomplish. And I actually just remembered that I left a couple off of here.
While Matt's writing that down,
Yeah.
we're going to thank our this week's sponsor, Clean Paul's Kitty Litter. The reason I'm bringing that up is because we just got a cat, or my son did, for Christmas. And let's just say I was never a cat person ever. And now I have I think a cat friend for life. We adopted a 11-year-old cat because the owner had to go to a home for the elderly and could not take their pet with them. So he was, and it's a male cat. So he was all alone, and my son felt, my youngest son, Andrew, has such a soft heart for animals, and couldn't think or bear to think that he was not going to be taken to a good home. So I am staring at Percy the cat sleeping on my chair here in the office.
He's a good-looking kitty.
Yeah, he's a good boy. Anyway, okay.
So the first thing I wrote down, that this is kind of a challenge for me, to me, and like I said, I think I already kind of started it, but I want to continue it, and that is focus on the process more than reaching a goal. And then in parentheses, I put like focus on enjoying the process more than just trying to reach a goal, like a number on the scale or whatever. Just focus on enjoying the actual act of exercise. And I think I talked about this before, but like going into whatever you're doing, whether it is running or strength training, and just being like kind of approaching it with a thankful heart of like, my body is able to do this. There are plenty of people that can't do this.
Yeah.
And I am able to do this.
Right.
So I should just enjoy the fact that I can do this. And I think having that mindset, as opposed to like, oh, I got to go do this. Got to get this done. If you go into it with that mindset, it's not going to be fun. But if you go into it with like, man, I get to do this. Like my body is able to do whatever the activity is.
Right.
That changes the entire feeling of the workout.
It changes your approach.
So, but that being said, I say focus on the process more than reaching a goal. But this wouldn't be a 90-day accountability challenge thing if I didn't have some goals in mind.
Right.
So,
right.
But like I like that there, because then if your goal is to just enjoy the process more, or just focus on the process more, well, every day that you work out, then you're hitting your goal. Because the goal is just to do the process and enjoy it. Mm-hmm. But some of these are goals that I've had for a while that I'm just reiterating that I want to continue, which the first one, and it's a goal I think everybody should have, is get yourself a minimum of a gallon of water every day. I'm usually over that, but like try and drink a gallon, because at first you'll be like, damn, man, this is a lot of water. Because everyone's like, oh, I already drink a lot of water. But it's like, yeah, but do you really? Because if you ever really try to drink a gallon, like have 32 ounces of water 4 times a day.
Wow.
It's a lot. And I'm always way over. I'm usually in the 156 ounce, 164 ounce range. But there are days like, and I will say this, on days that I don't run, it is harder for me to get to a gallon, because the one thing that's always helpful is like after I run, I've sweat out a bunch, and it's really easy to I can drink 40 ounces right there. And it's a good jump start to getting that gallon. But when I haven't taxed myself like that,
right,
I have to consciously think about drinking water more. You know what I mean? And this is another one that I mostly do, but I feel like in the last couple of months haven't been as strict, but eat mostly whole foods and nutrient dense foods. So not a whole bunch of like treats or sweets or processed foods, but just a lot of good like fruits, vegetables, meat.
Yep.
Things like that. Minimum effort that goes into preparing them, like right. Things like that. Okay, now this is one for me. You can join me on this if you want.
Okay.
But this is one that I've been kind of bad about lately. And I'll just say what it is, and then I'll say it. But for myself, I'm going to say no eating after 7 p.m.
Oh.
Now, the reason I want to it has nothing to do with like, oh, you'll gain weight or you won't lose weight.
Okay.
But I sleep so much better if I have a good couple hours, like post dinner, but before bedtime, where I don't eat.
Yep.
And I've been bad about like, man, I'll just have like this little cup of cashews or something at like 8:30, but then I'm going to bed by like 9:15 or 9:30. And if my body is digesting food when I'm trying to go to sleep, like for some people it's better. Some people say like, oh, if I have something carby before I go to bed, I sleep better. That's fine. For me personally, I sleep so much better if I've already kind of digested dinner and that part of my body isn't working anymore.
Yeah, I am the same. I don't sleep well whenever my stomach is either full or filled.
Yeah.
Feel a little bit bloated. I don't sleep good.
But I have to remind myself of that, because it's like that's the only time that Amy and I really get time to be with each other.
Right.
And then
it's super easy to hang out and snack.
Yeah, like right now we're watching Jack Ryan on Amazon Prime, and it's like, I'm sure
just a little something while
it's cold out. I'll make some hot chocolate and have some cashews. It's like, dude, I don't need that.
No, no, but it makes for a lovely evening though.
It does. But anyway, so that's one I'm going to institute for myself and because I used to be really good about it. I used to be that dinner was the last thing I ate.
I did the same thing there for a while. Yeah.
Okay. So here's the newer things that I want to start implementing. Now I already work out. I go and train with Damon 2 days a week. Mm-hmm. So I wrote strength train at least 5 days a week for a minimum of 30 minutes a session.
Wow.
So I've already got 2 days with Damon. So what I'm hoping is the other days, like I go to him usually on Monday and Thursdays. If I can do some kind of strength training on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday here at home or at the gym, wherever I am, if I'm on the road or whatever, and hopefully longer than 30 minutes, but sometimes 30 minutes is all you got. And you can do a lot in 30 minutes if you plan it right.
A whole lot in 30 minutes.
So that's what I want to do. Now, the other one I put is, like I said, I still want to run, but I want to run 4 days a week. Sometimes it might be more, but like 4 days a week, at least a 5K, but no more than a 10K. So at least 3.1 miles, but no more than 6.2 miles.
A day.
A day. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So because what I've started doing is when I run a 5K, I'm trying to run it for time. So I've been trying to get my 5K to 25 minutes or less, which is like an 8-minute mile, which is that's pretty fast for somebody my size.
That's quick. That's quick.
And there's no reason for it other than it's just like a new thing that I can work to that gives my running purpose. I've really reached a point to where I can't just run to run Because I know that like it's not, other than being good for my heart, it's not helping me achieve any other goals. But running, trying to increase your speed, that's like more stress on your heart. So that's good. But it also is going to be less time that I have to dedicate to it.
Yeah. Correct.
You know what I mean? If my running can just take half an hour of my day, and then I can come back home, like that's great. And if I'm really taxing myself in those 25 minutes, that's as beneficial as taking an hour to run a slower pace for longer miles.
For sure.
From the cardio perspective of it.
Cardio perspective and the muscle perspective.
Right.
Because you're working quick twitch muscle fibers more aggressively than slow twitch, right?
Yeah. And I said no more than a 10K because I don't really think there's any reason for me to,
Well, we have talked about that too, that there is now some new evidence showing that enduro running will slow the metabolism. And
right.
10K qualifies as enduro running.
Yeah,
I mean it's just on the cusp of it, but
sure.
It counts.
And like I might have a day a month or so where if I start running and it feels really good and I have nothing else to do that day, maybe I'll see if I can still run like 8 miles or 10 miles. But to try and do that every day,
that's the thing.
I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that.
Of that becomes a thing that reprograms your metabolism.
And then this is something that I already do, but like I want to continue to keep walking Lloyd a minimum of 6 days a week for at least 3 miles. But he and I usually do 3.5 to 4. And if he's feeling really good, sometimes we'll do 5. And that's just walking. So like, that's still really good for you, but it's not eating away at my muscle. It's not slowing my metabolism down.
Right.
And I'm outside. I'm bonding with him. I'm getting vitamin D.
Yep. So far, studies show, just so the listener or whatever, that walking long distances, great for the heart, really good for the mind.
Yep.
It will not slow your metabolism, no matter how far you walk.
Yeah.
It's the mechanism of the running that in the long distances and for doing it long periods of time and consistently that will change your metabolism. It slows it down because, well, if you're out on the Serengeti and you have to chase down your food, you want to burn the least amount of calories getting calories.
Right.
And the body's really good at figuring that out.
Yes.
And how to slow that down. But with walking, it's a much different. It's a different mechanical thing that you're doing, and your body doesn't react to it the same way.
Yeah. And then one of the last things, and this kind of stems from what I've been doing for you for the last couple months, but I put play/practice drums every day for at least 30 minutes. Because I'm a professional drummer, but I'm ashamed to say that there are days where I don't get up here and play. There are days where I don't touch a drumstick. Life happens. But towards the end of, not the end, but like we've kind of been on a hiatus of doing it for a couple weeks just because Christmas and travel and all that. But like, I felt like I hit a new zone in my playing, tracking these songs for you, and like kind of maybe hit just another level developmentally as far as like execution goes, or maybe not even execution, but like criticalness of my own playing, and like really not sending you something until I was like, no, that's how it should be. That's right. As good as it can be. And just like kind of the flow of working, the more you do that, the better you get at it. And I was really feeling good. And I think it wasn't just like lifting weights and running less or whatever that was part of that change. It was the fact that I was up here playing drums, which was like feeding my mental health and like kind of rejuvenating my soul a little bit, of like playing drums for fun, but also it's for something important, but it was like a low pressure thing.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it
Right.
just was like, man, this feels like how it used to feel when I was a kid. And it was great. So I want to implement that more. And not every day has to be a day where I practice and I unlock some new thing. It can just be a day where I put on a record and play for 30 minutes. But I want to try and do that every day that I can. Now, I mean, some days it'll be easy because if I'm out on the road with David, well, there's 90 minutes right there.
Right.
But days that I'm home, I mean, you know, I have time to do it when no one's here.
Yeah.
And if I'm not going to be spending 4 hours running every day, I have even more time to do it, you know? And it's like one of those things of, well, what is more beneficial? Like, that was my whole thing of I can take 25 minutes to run and then get on with my day.
Yeah.
And get to some other things.
Right.
You know? So then, okay, I'm almost done. I have 2 strength goals, which I told you about. But over the next 90 days, I've never had a strong chest. My upper body strength in general has always been lackluster. It's better now for sure than it ever was. I want to be able to, for reps, for like 8 reps at least, I want to be able to bench 45s on the bar, which is really not that much, but I can maybe eke out 2 quality reps now. I want to be able to do at least 8 to 10 over the next 90 days, which should be doable. And the other one, and I don't know if this will happen in 90 days. This might be more of a 6-month or a year goal, but I'd really like to get to the point to where I can do pull-ups or chin-ups. I don't care. Probably chin-ups. I think that's the easier hand position than pull-ups. It's probably more, the biceps help more. But I want to be able to do like 5 unassisted pull-ups. Like true, like, you know, a full range down and then up and back down and back up. 5 of those without any assistance. No bands, not on the assisted chin-up machine at the gym or whatever. True pull-ups. I don't know if that'll happen in 90 days. But I am doing those 2 things at least 3 times a week at home.
Are you?
Yeah. Well, now the pull-ups are assisted at home.
Sure, but
because that's the only way you can really work yourself.
It's the only way you can start.
What I have set up, I got myself some gymnast rings. Because I like that because you can change the hand position as you pull. You know?
Yeah, right.
And then I have 2 resistance bands. I have a heavy and a medium. So the first set, I only put the medium on my foot. And I do as many as I can because it's not that much assistance. But that's also when I'm the strongest because I haven't done that many yet. My body's not fatigued. So I do as many as I can in the first set. Then I rest for a minute. Then I put on the heavy band, which is more assistance, and I do as many as I can. Then I rest for a minute or 2, and then the last set, I use both bands.
Okay.
And that's almost too much assistance, but I don't have anything in between those.
Yeah.
But I just crank out as many as I can.
Right.
And I can feel those muscles. The mind muscle connection and feeling the muscles engaged that need to, I'm more aware of now. I can feel it more, like in my back especially. And the whole like just trying to get your shoulder blades to pinch together and like using that part of the chain.
Yeah.
So yeah. And then bench, I've been working on that. I told you I've been working on that. You know, so. And
you're getting further along with it.
Further along, yeah.
Really good.
Yeah, so we'll see.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so that's all I wrote down for me. This, I mean, I need this. Like, I need somebody to be like, hey, did you fucking lift weights today? Did you do this shit? You know, like, I did a body fat scan with Damon back in December. And to my surprise, I was like 19%, which I thought I'd be over 20. And that was another thing that like kind of instigated all this. That was really motivating.
Yeah.
I was like, dang, man. Yeah, I just need to focus on strength training more. Like, if I don't care about the number on a scale, 225, that's fine. I want all my pants to still fit.
Yes.
And all that shit. But like,
right.
I don't care if that number on the scale doesn't go down anymore. If how I look in the mirror starts to change.
Yeah.
And even then, I know that that'll be a slower process. But if I can start noticing strength gains before I even start noticing a visual physique change.
Which you have already.
Yeah. And I feel like eventually strength gains will mean physique changes. As long as I don't start just eating like an asshole. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Right. That's right.
Then those strength changes will result in physique changes that will be noticeable. Mm-hmm. So I think that's my other goal. I didn't write it down, but maybe at the end of this 90 days, do another body fat scan and see if I can be like 17%.
Yeah, I'd love any slight reduction.
Yeah, anything lower than what I was. I'd love at the end of the year to be around 15, but that's like a lot of work. You get like, oh, that's only like 4 percentage points, but
that's a lot.
But that's a lot. That's a lot, man.
That is a lot, especially after you've already removed so much weight.
Right. Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, you know, I got down to 205. I got down to 198, you know, for briefly. Like, it was really easy the first time to do all that because I just lost so much weight all at once and I was so focused, had blinders on. But then I leveled out and it's like, I've been killing myself trying, I want to get down to 215, blah, blah, blah. And it's so hard. And I don't want to say that the reason I don't want to try to do that anymore is because it's hard. But I just don't even know if that's a goal worth having.
I don't know either, man, because I kind of felt sort of the same way. I wanted to get back down to about 205 and stay firmly planted there or below, or even hit 200.
Yeah.
And I hit 192 was my lowest.
Yeah.
But at 192, I look at pictures, and I looked leaner, but I also didn't look quite as muscular. Like I did look, I had cut spots and stuff, but like the bulk of the muscle was kind of not. And I think where I'm going with this is I got down there and I trimmed away the fat and to reveal that my muscle mass was not as much.
Right.
And then I started building the muscle on top of it. And I started getting a little bit bigger again, which made me concerned slightly because I was like, am I gaining weight again? Which I was.
Right.
But it's not fat. It's like you can grab and pinch, you know, and not pinch nothing but just a layer of skin. So it was like, okay. And it's just that whole, man, it's such a mind game when that stuff happens. Anyway, so was that the end of your...
Yeah, sorry. I feel like I just talked forever. But yeah, that's okay. That's what I jotted down. That's kind of where my head's at. Those are the things I've been working on, but I'm really going to like put the pedal to the metal.
Well, I'd say we're not that far away from each other as far as list of things to do or want to see happen over the next 90 days. And I think your list is pretty darn attainable as long as you keep at it. But with the muscle stuff, with the particular things you want to be able to do with strength, there is a point where you could be too aggressive.
Well,
right?
Sure.
And then you run into a point of possible injury.
Yeah.
So there's that to keep in mind. And I have to do the same thing because I can definitely overexert myself when doing that kind of stuff because it's fun. Anyway, but my list of my things and the continuance of this is going to have to happen on our next episode.
All right.
Because I have a child to go pick up.
Oh, right on. Oh, man. Yeah. Dude, it's so much later than I thought. Sorry.
Yeah, it is. But did you know that ketchup was once sold as medicine?
That's a good share.
Hey, thanks for listening or watching the Good Share podcast. Hey, Ice, tell them what they can do.
Well, if you're enjoying the show, please take a minute and like, subscribe, comment, rate, and review. And don't forget to ring that bell so you never miss an episode.
That's right. And if you want to know more, go to the GoodSharePodcast.com.
Say hi, Tim.
Hi, Tim!